What if the biggest mistake in your love life isn't choosing the wrong man once, but choosing the same man over and over in different packaging? Maybe his name changes, his haircut changes, his job changes, but somehow the ending feels strangely familiar. The excitement is intense. The chemistry feels undeniable. Then come the mixed signals, the anxiety, the emotional roller coaster, and eventually the heartbreak. Meanwhile, the stable, kind, reliable guy often feels less exciting at first glance. Today we're going to unpack one of the most common relationship traps women fall into, the good boy versus bad boy dilemma. More importantly, we're going to explore why so many smart women keep repeating the same pattern and how to choose a relationship that actually makes your life better. Let's start with something surprising. Attraction and compatibility are not the same thing. Most people treat them as if they are identical, but they're completely different systems. Attraction is emotional. Compatibility is practical. Attraction gets your attention. Compatibility determines whether a relationship survives. Think of attraction like fireworks, beautiful, exciting, loud. Compatibility is more like the foundation of a house. Nobody takes pictures of it, but without it, everything eventually collapses. Many women spend years optimizing for fireworks while ignoring the foundation. The result? Amazing first dates followed by exhausting relationships. Understanding this difference may be one of the most important relationship skills you'll ever learn. So why are bad boys often so attractive? It isn't because women secretly want toxic relationships. The answer is more complicated. Many bad boys project confidence, independence, unpredictability, and emotional distance. Those traits create mystery. Mystery creates curiosity. Curiosity often feels like attraction. Your brain starts asking questions. Why isn't he texting? What is he thinking? Does he really like me? Suddenly you're emotionally invested before you've even evaluated whether he's actually a good partner. The uncertainty becomes addictive. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes slot machines difficult to walk away from. Sometimes attention arrives, sometimes it doesn't. Your brain keeps chasing the next reward. Now let's talk about the good boy. Unfortunately, good boys often suffer from a marketing problem. Reliability doesn't create immediate excitement, consistency isn't dramatic, emotional availability rarely creates suspense. Yet these are the exact traits that predict relationship success. Imagine two investment accounts. One swings wildly every day and creates constant excitement. The other grows steadily for 20 years. Which one builds wealth? Relationships work similarly. Stability compounds, trust compounds, respect compounds. The challenge is that many women evaluate potential partners using short-term emotional reactions instead of long-term relationship outcomes. That's like choosing stocks based entirely on today's price movement, rather than future performance. Here's where things become even more interesting. Many women aren't actually attracted to bad boys. They're attracted to the emotional patterns that feel familiar. If you grew up chasing approval, dealing with inconsistency, or feeling like love had to be earned, emotionally unavailable men may feel strangely comfortable, not healthy, comfortable. Familiarity often disguises itself as chemistry. Think about that for a moment. Sometimes what feels like destiny is simply repetition. Your subconscious isn't asking, will this relationship make me happy? It's asking, does this feel like something I've experienced before? Those are very different questions, and they often produce very different outcomes. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine two men. One texts consistently, keeps his promises, and communicates clearly. The other disappears for days, reappears with charm, and keeps you guessing. Many women initially report stronger chemistry with the second man. Why? Because uncertainty creates emotional intensity. But intensity is not intimacy. They're completely different experiences. Intensity spikes quickly and crashes quickly. Intimacy grows slowly and becomes stronger over time. One feels like a roller coaster. The other feels like building a home. The mistake happens when women confuse emotional turbulence with emotional depth. Just because something feels powerful doesn't mean it's healthy. One of the biggest traps is confusing confidence with competence. Bad boys often appear extremely confident. They know how to command attention. They know how to create attraction. But confidence doesn't automatically mean they're capable of maintaining a healthy relationship. Think of a movie trailer. A great trailer can generate enormous excitement, but the actual movie still has to deliver. In relationships, many women become captivated by the trailer and never evaluate the full feature film. Ask yourself this question: is he good at creating attraction, or is he good at sustaining trust? Those are entirely different skills, and only one predicts long-term happiness. Research consistently shows that relationship satisfaction is linked to kindness, emotional stability, reliability, and effective communication. Notice what isn't on that list: drama, unpredictability, emotional games, constant jealousy. Yet many people spend years chasing exactly those experiences because they're emotionally stimulating. Imagine hiring an employee. Would you choose someone who occasionally performs brilliantly but regularly creates chaos? Or someone dependable who consistently delivers results? Most people know the answer in business. Somehow relationships convince us to abandon the same logic. Long-term success usually comes from consistency, not excitement alone. Here's another overlooked reality: a good man doesn't mean a boring man. This is where many women accidentally create a false choice. The decision isn't between exciting and stable, it's between healthy excitement and unhealthy excitement. Plenty of confident, ambitious, adventurous men are also emotionally mature. The problem is that they often don't create chaos, so they can initially seem less thrilling. But healthy relationships generate excitement differently, through growth, shared experiences, travel, goals, humor, adventure, mutual support. The excitement comes from building a life together rather than constantly managing relationship problems. Let's talk about red flags that frequently get mistaken for green flags. Being hard to get isn't the same as having standards. Being emotionally unavailable isn't the same as being independent. Being possessive isn't the same as being passionate. Being unpredictable isn't the same as being exciting. These distinctions matter because many unhealthy behaviors arrive wearing attractive disguises. The bad boy often benefits from this confusion. What initially appears strong can later reveal itself as selfish. What initially appears mysterious can later reveal itself as emotionally closed off. The packaging can be incredibly persuasive, which is why looking beneath the surface is so important. A useful framework is to stop asking, "How do I feel around him?" and start asking, "How do I feel about myself around him?" Do you feel secure or anxious, valued or uncertain, peaceful or exhausted, supported or constantly evaluated? The right partner shouldn't require you to become a detective, therapist, negotiator, and emotional hostage all at the same time. Healthy relationships simplify your life. Toxic relationships complicate it. Pay attention to what the relationship is producing inside you. Your emotional state often reveals more truth than your attraction does. Let's explore the cost of repeatedly choosing the wrong partner. Every year spent in an unhealthy relationship has an opportunity cost: time, emotional energy, confidence, future possibilities. Imagine spending 5 years trying to convince someone to love you properly. That's thousands of conversations, hundreds of disappointments, and countless opportunities that never happened because your attention was invested elsewhere. Most people calculate financial investments carefully. Very few calculate emotional investments. Yet emotional investments often determine the quality of your entire life. Choosing wisely isn't just romantic, it's strategic. One powerful habit is to evaluate patterns instead of promises. Anyone can make promises. Patterns reveal character. If a man repeatedly shows respect, reliability, honesty, and effort, believe the pattern. If he repeatedly disappoints, disappears, lies, or creates confusion, believe that pattern too. Many women become attached to potential. They fall in love with who a man could become rather than who he consistently is today. Potential is not reality. Relationships are lived in reality. Future possibilities are nice, but present behavior is usually the strongest predictor of future behavior. Another mistake is believing you can fix someone. This trap captures countless intelligent women. You see potential. You see hidden goodness. You believe that with enough love, patience, understanding, and support, he'll transform. Occasionally, people do change, but lasting change almost always happens because someone wants to change, not because someone else wants it for them. Relationships should not be renovation projects. They should be partnerships. If you wouldn't happily accept him exactly as he is today, be very careful about betting your future on who he might become someday. Now let's talk about standards. Many women lower standards because they fear being alone, but loneliness inside the wrong relationship is often worse than loneliness outside of one. A healthy standard isn't demanding perfection, it's requiring the basics: respect, honesty, communication, accountability, emotional maturity, shared values. These aren't luxury features, they're the minimum operating requirements for a healthy partnership. The irony is that women who maintain healthy standards often attract healthier partners because they're no longer willing to participate in unhealthy dynamics. Standards act like filters. They protect your future. If you find yourself repeatedly attracted to bad boys, don't judge yourself. Get curious instead. Ask deeper questions. What emotional need is being activated? What pattern feels familiar? What belief am I carrying about love? Self-awareness changes everything. The goal isn't to eliminate attraction. The goal is to align attraction with good judgment. Imagine combining chemistry, compatibility, respect, trust, and emotional security. That's not settling, that's upgrading. The healthiest relationships often feel different from what you're used to because they're not activating old wounds. They're creating new possibilities. At this point, you've probably noticed a pattern running through everything we've discussed. The real choice isn't good boy versus bad boy. The real choice is short-term excitement versus long-term fulfillment. One path prioritizes emotional highs. The other prioritizes emotional health. One often creates stories you'll tell your friends. The other creates a life you'll actually enjoy living. The strongest relationships are rarely built on chasing. They're built on choosing. Choosing trust, choosing respect, choosing consistency, choosing someone who adds peace to your life instead of constantly testing your ability to survive chaos. So the next time you're evaluating a potential relationship, remember this simple question: is this person making my future better or merely making my emotions louder? Attraction matters, chemistry matters, but neither should outrank character. The healthiest partner isn't necessarily the man who creates the strongest emotional reaction on day one. It's often the man whose actions quietly improve your life week after week, year after year. Choose the man whose presence brings clarity instead of confusion, peace instead of anxiety, growth instead of drama, because in the end, the relationship you choose will shape your happiness far more than the butterflies you felt at the beginning.